What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I want to talk some gaming today, people. Today we're going to be going over my second and third place YCS Richmond deck profile. Now both of these decks are going to be a little bit different from each other because I did make changes on day 2, which was my second place deck profile, but this will be my third place one going on right here, and I will be going over to the second as well. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this. If you don't know, we are in a tier 0 format right now, which is the reason why you're not seeing any content coming to my channel, because it's very boring to make the same video over and over again. My Precious Queen is the deck to be playing. It is a tier 0 skill. There is no skill like it in the game of Speed Duels or in the history of Speed Duels, and honestly, it does need to get nerfed. However, if there are giant cards on the line and I'm walking into an event, I'm playing to win. Therefore, I played this skill. It is a very interesting skill. Like I said, very overpowered, and the reason why is because you get to use this skill right here that once per turn during the end phase, you can special summon one insect monster token, and so this is for both you and your opponent's end phase, so you get to essentially just sit there and wall up the entire time, and so it's a very unfair mechanic because if you're going second, which is what your deck aims to do, you will automatically start with a card on the field, so you are already up advantage on your opponent, and then you draw for turn as well and get a battle phase. So all of those things mixed together just makes this skill very strong because of just having the advantage completely against your opponent. You start the game with 6 cards to your opponent's 5 if they're not on the skill, or 4 if they're not on the skill, 5 if they are on the skill, and it's just overpowered. It's not that fun to play against or play. The first part of the skill is you can normal summon a level 7 insect monster for 1 less tribute. That's insane because these tributes can't be tributed except for the tribute summon of an insect monster or their effect. So yeah, that all there. This part here, it just sucks. You'd never use this, but the skill does do 3 things for absolutely free for no reason. But these 2 skills here are what the deck is based around, right? Being able to summon out a level 7 insect monster, generate a token every single turn for absolutely free. Again, there's no skill in there like this. Anyway, you don't want to hear me talk about this skill anymore. You want to hear me go into the deck profile. So here's the deck. It's Bug Aggro. We're on Brain Crusher, which is just a Goyo Guardian, but he's a bug monster. 2400 stat, 1500 stat. Insect Princess is insane in this deck and in this format. It is really Gap the Divine Soldier, which is a fiend type monster that switches all monsters on the field to attack mode, but it does get the additional ability where if it destroys an insect monster, it gains 500 additional attack points. So this can easily end up climbing the Brain Crusher, or Brain Crusher in general can just steal your opponent's Insect Princess, but it's a really good floodgate like effect in that deck. The card we're playing is Crossword Beetle. This card is really unique, being able to give all your insect monsters on the field piercing as long as you have him and another insect monster on the field. So he himself can gain piercing with a token on the field, which is really cool. In playtesting though, I did not like this card that much, so I opted to change it out day 2. So you will not be seeing this many copies of him in the deck going into the next deck profile. We are also on Cyber Valley. This card is absolutely insane in the deck because you just banish him and a token to draw 2, or he can sit there and then take up an attack and continue to stall the game. He is very versatile in both of those things. You're either drawing 2 off of him or you're protecting your life points, and that in general is just really strong. You can literally sit behind him for multiple turns while you sit behind a Golden Ladybug, which is our 1-up for the deck, and just gain life points while you generate tokens every single turn. It's really nasty. Sphere Kribo is being played at 2 in my list. You see most of these lists playing 3, but I wanted to make room for more trap cards. And then we are also going to be on the triple hammer shot, which is definitely getting cut to 2 going into the next deck profile. I opened up 3 hammer shot, I think 3 games, and lost all 3 games I did that. It was nasty. I did not like this card being at 3. 2 is definitely where I would keep it at. Token Sunday is the bread and butter of the token deck, being that you can destroy up to 3 cards your opponent controls, and it does come up on multiple occasions, and you can even use it as a hammer shot if you really want to, just to destroy 1 single card. I felt like I was doing that way more than I was using it to destroy 3 cards on the field, just because my opponent would just sit there behind tokens for so long. Creature Seizure, I think this card sucks. I played it day 2, I cut it. I don't think it's very good, but if you want to use it, you can. You just give your opponent one of your token monsters. I can see it being good against Cyber Angels, but literally everybody that was at the event that I played against was on Bug. I played Bug Mirrors all day long, except for Rare Hunters. Big shout out to that guy. That guy was playing a really cool deck, playing the Red Eyes build, the Red Eyes Fusion Warrior build. But yeah, Book of Moon is one of my 3-ofs. I played at 1 because I like the trap cards for this deck, because I think that if you resolve the Wall of Disruption, you just kind of win the game. because you have these cards here to just clear it. You're an aggro based deck, so being able to do that. Oh no, you hit it with the Token Sunday. That's fine because you're sitting there stalling the deck with the Boku, or stalling against it with Boku anyway. It's not that big of a deal. Sphere Creep was also keep you protected. Like I felt like this was the call over this. I don't understand why people are playing double book one wall or triple book. Like it's not the play, not in this format. I don't think. I'm also on the widespread as an additional trap, battle trap. I think battle traps are just insane in speed duels. They were insane in Duel Links for so long. There's no reason to change that just because we have a spell card here that just destroys spell and trap cards on the field. Because sometimes they're going after your big cards if you're playing the aggro deck, and or if you're playing the burn deck because they want to hit the submarine roid. And then Jar of Avarice. This card just keeps you in the game for a little bit longer, especially if you're against the stall deck. You kind of do want to play this in your main deck just for the stall deck when it does come up, or if you lose any of your pieces. I ended up actually Jar of Avaricing to get my Golden Ladybug back, and then ended up drawing it off the Jar of Avarice, which I thought was absolutely insane. The side deck is just a 2/2/2. We're on Mind Crush, Waking the Dragon, Lava Golem. This changed going into day 2, but going into day 1, I felt like this was the list I wanted to play. I obviously wanted to play aggro. I didn't really have a lot of testing with the aggro build. I only played the stall version and the Red Eyes version up until this point. But I felt like after reading over a bunch of what the cards did and watching a bunch of like stuff on YouTube, I was like, all right, so this is definitely going to be the vibe of what I want to show up with. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to jump into the second place deck profile, which I feel like performed way better. So this is kind of the my final deck is, and there is one card in particular I would tell you to take out because I don't personally like it, but my buddy put me on it, and I ended up just in the end cutting it after the tournament. It is what lost me first place, is this card in particular, but we'll go over it when it hits there. So as you can see, my Monarchs went up to 5. We're actually on 3 Princess double of the Brain Crusher. After day 1 was over, I was like, I really feel like Princess is the way to go. There's no reason why in the aggro list it should be on the 2/2, like a lot of lists are playing. I think that the Insect Princess being at 3 is just insane because it's going to get Brain Crushered, it's going to get Hammer Shot, it's going to get Creature Seizured. Like, at least if you have multiple princesses, when it's gone, you can still get it back, right? You have another copy in your deck, and it is the game ender because it switches their tokens to attack mode. And if you're in the mirror, then it's just so powerful to have. Obviously, Brain Crusher is insane. We're going to keep our Goyo Guardian in here, but we're only going to keep it at 2. I didn't think playing at 6 would have been that great. I did test it at with 6 Monarchs, but again, Brain Crusher at 2 is just where it ended up. I cut Crossword Beetle down from 3 to 1. I like his ability to be able to give Brain Crusher and Insect Princess the piercing, but I found that so often this card was just not enough. His attack stat is just mediocre at best, and that even if there was a lot of points where I didn't want to summon tokens, and when I didn't, I would draw into him for turn, and I felt like he was a dead draw. So I opted to actually trade him out and put double Spear Dragon into this deck. Spear Dragon is insane because it can easily pierce for 1800 damage. You don't need to have another card on the field. The only downside about this card is that when it switches to defense mode, it can easily get killed by a token, but that's the reason why we ended up going from 2 Wall of Disruption to 3, so we play actually a total of 8 battle traps in total, and then we moved Sphere Creepo from 2 to 3 as well. That way we could actually protect the Spear Dragon when it went to defense mode, and also continue to stall the game if we absolutely wanted to. That's the big reason why the battle traps went up here. It's just so we can protect our guy right here, because he is the game finisher. He's the card we are really relying on to win the game. Again, Cyber Valley's so good, there's no reason to cut this card at any less copies. Golden Ladybug is the one of choice. I see people on Offerings, I see people on Floodgate Trap Hole. But the reality is there's a lot of niche scenarios, not even niche, there's just a lot of scenarios in general when you're playing this deck where you have to go into the stall matchup and just sit there and just pass for turn after turn after turn. And by the time you do that, if you have Golden Ladybug in hand, you can get up to 2500 to 3500 life points by the time the game actually progresses anywhere. So Golden Ladybug in general is just my one of choice, and it did come in clutch. Every game that it came up, I feel like I won. I feel like there's only like maybe one game out of the entire time I played that I felt like I had Golden Ladybug and lost. And that was literally the first place finals for this. But hey, it's all right. Sphere Creepo again, it goes to 3 to protect monsters. Hammer Shot went down to 2. Like I said, I bricked on this card, and after I bricked the second time, I was like, yeah, I'm cutting it to 2. I can see why people want it at 3. Just me personally, I'm not on it. Token Sundays at 3, and then the card that lost me, the giant card Supply Squad. You get this mandatory. I didn't realize putting it into deck that's mandatory. Every time they kill a token, so every single turn I was just drawing an additional card. My opponent was just decking me out. I could have after the game hindsight's 2020. You know what I mean? Token Sunday can destroy my own cards, and I should have definitely just ended up Sundaying my own Supply Squad. That way I would stop decking myself out and actually continue in the game and be able to stall and actually get myself to a point where I could win, but that's not here or there. It happens, and I lost my buddy Terrence, and he's a great guy, and he definitely deserved the giant card, so I am not upset in any sort of way. Wall of Disruptions at 3 for protection with Boku and Widespread Ruin. Both of these cards are all in here to as battle traps. Jar of Avarice is keep us in the game. Side deck is a little different this time. We are on 2 of the Mind Crush, 1 Waking the Dragon, 1 Night Beam, 1 Chaosai, and 1 Lava Golem. Chaosai is really good in the Cyber Angel matchup. That's what the Mind Crushers are in here for, so I put it in there for that. And I was coming up in weird scenarios where instead of wanting Hammer Shots, I wanted to actually have my Night Beam. Or a Night Beam or Spell and Trap Destruction. So there were certain games where I was deciding out Hammer Shots for this, especially games where I was seeing my opponent was also on Wall of Disruption or Battle Traps. That is where I would put the Night Beams in there. So all in all, I think I played very well. I think I had a lot of really good games. And again, it's one of those things. It's a tier 0 format. The only interactive games you are going to have are the games where you are playing against this tier 0 deck. And yeah, it was cool. Again, Konami needs to fix this skill. This is like the worst thing they could have ever created for this game. Literally, I say this to everybody. If My Precious Queen wasn't made, or they just literally took the token generation skill off of it, this would be probably the most fun format that Speed Duels has ever had in its history. However, because we have My Precious Queen, we will never get to see that format, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure you leave a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe if you hate My Precious Queen. Leave hashtag I hate My Precious Queen in the comment section down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.